Hello, hello. Happy Thursday. It's 11:39. We're a few minutes late on Thursday in Barcelona and Cologne, Germany. I'm Jason Greenman. This is Sabrina Meyers from Hot Hospitality, and we're back to do the 20 minutes event
Right.
profs
We try.
marketing live. We do our best. We do our best. How are you today, Sabrina?
I'm good. I'm good. I mean, the weather here is wonderful.
Amazing.
And so that helps a lot. But I am stuck in quarantine with my son. I'm not quarantined. My son's been quarantined.
Mm,
So
therefore,
2 weeks. We're halfway through it, Jason. We're halfway through it. So I'm
this
surviving.
is a year to remember, no doubt, fun times, and maybe a year to forget in some ways too. So,
Yeah, definitely
but
some moments for sure.
yeah, but be strong. We're here with you. You've always got us on the socials, right? That's where you can
Absolutely.
vent and
Absolutely.
share, and we can give ourselves support. So,
I love that you say that because it's so true. I feel like when something happens to me that I have to tell someone that gets it. And I literally go on social media, like on my communities, like my
hmm
Instagram groups, and then, or like I'll message you. And that's where I like rant. And it's
yeah,
amazing to have
yeah.
that. So I think, it is a wonderful thing to have an online community, that you can connect with and share your frustrations as well as your wins with. So
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, in so many ways, we're all in the same boat. And I think there's a lot of empathy for going through these things together. And
yeah,
it's a nice kind of benefit from all the disaster that's happened is, I think the community is much more tight knit. So, which is a really good way to pull that into here, because today, exactly what we want to do is get to know our community. So that's anybody in the events community, anybody that's watching. What we're going to do today is go through just some simple, maybe 4 or 5 questions
mhm.
that's going to help everybody get to know us better, myself and Sabrina, and also anybody else that's watching or in the comments get to know them better by answering some of these really basic questions. So basically, just have some fun and be free in the chat, say hello, and if you watch this afterwards, feel free to chime in and talk about yourself. Today is all about talking about yourself. So,
That's right.
um, should we get started?
Let's get started. I'm
All right.
very excited. This is
All right.
this is this is nice. I like this, because a lot of what digital marketing as well is that it's not a one-sided thing. It is a two-sided thing. And you
Hmm.
need to get to know your community and they should be able to share and that there's that exchange because that will make your digital marketing and your online presence that much stronger because you have a community that you consistently speak to and get to
Yep.
know and yeah, you feel each other out. It's awesome. I love it. So let's go.
It's crazy, isn't it? Because like we've, in these last, like it's been over a year now, but like during that time, we've really gotten to know people. Wouldn't say like intimately, but very closely. Whereas,
Mm,
and purely through this virtual space. So digital marketing's really helped us do that. It's brought a lot of people together in that way. So
absolutely.
um, why don't we get started? And I'm going to ask you the first question. So really
Okay.
basic. Where are you from, Sabrina? Where did the life of Sabrina start?
Life of Sabrina started in Singapore.
Hey.
So I am born and brought up in this wonderful little island nation called Singapore. Some of you might know it, some of you might not know it. I think everyone does know it. But if you try to look for it on a map, it's really difficult because it's like a little full stop on the map. It's teeny tiny. A lot of people think that it's like together with Malaysia, but it's not. We got independence 200 years ago, I think it was now,
Mhm.
or more than that now. And so it's super exciting, yeah, to be from this little island in the South East Asian Ocean.
Nice, nice. And how long did you live there for? When
So I lived in Singapore for 22 years before I left and never went back to live.
uh-huh.
So my parents immigrated there from Bangladesh
Hmm.
because a lot of times the question that I get, which guys, this is not a question you should ever ask because if someone tells you they're from somewhere, do not ask them where are you really from,
Where are you
okay?
really? Oh, yeah,
Because
yeah,
that really
yeah,
irritates everyone
yeah.
involved. So when I tell people I'm from Singapore, they'll be like, okay, but what's your heritage? Where are you really from? That really irritates me because I am from Singapore. I was born and brought up there, so I'm Singaporean.
Hmm.
But if you must know, my parents emigrated from Bangladesh
Okay.
about, I want to say, in 1975. And I
Hmm.
was born a few years after that, many years after that,
Many
not
years after
many,
that.
a few years after that. And so, I was really the only one in my family. I have three siblings, me, and I have an older brother and a sister.
Hmm.
And I was the only one born in Singapore, so I'm the true blue Singaporean in
Yeah.
the family. Everyone else, got their passport, but I
Okay.
I earned it. I got it the right
Right.
way, like through birth. So yeah, and I was there for 22 years,
Hmm.
and then I moved to study. Right, as a lot of Singaporean students actually do.
Hmm.
I actually moved to Australia to study and do my degree in hospitality, business,
Okay.
and
Nice.
tourism.
Nice. Nice.
And where
Um,
are you from, Jason?
Me, I am from the wonderful state of Florida in the United States, from
Mhm.
Jacksonville, Florida. It's a name that everybody seems to know, but not many people have been there because it's not extremely touristic. But I was in Jacksonville. My whole family was from Jacksonville. It's about 45 minutes from Georgia, so it's about the opposite end of Miami. When everybody thinks about Florida, they think about Orlando and Miami. Jacksonville is a whole different ballgame. Um, and
What's
was
special
there.
about Jacksonville? Like, is there like a something very Jacksonvillian? Is that how you say it? I'm not even sure.
It's
Um,
yeah, I mean, what is
is there like a
special
specific
about
like type
Jacksonville?
of food that you eat there, or is it known for something in particular?
It's very southern. So like when you think Jacksonville, think that it's much closer to Georgia than it is to Miami.
Okay,
So like a lot of southern accents, a lot of country music. They got a big
nice.
river that goes through the downtown. We actually lived out at the beaches, so Jacksonville does have a beach, Jacksonville Beach.
Okay.
So a really nice, super long beach is over there. It's very, I mean, it's a very livable city, to be honest. It's not very touristic because there's not a lot of sights to see,
Mhm.
but in terms of growing up and having family and communities and green space, it's really a nice place to live. The weather's really good as well.
I mean, it's Florida.
It's
Weather is
Florida.
always awesome,
It's
isn't it?
warm, exactly. So yeah, that's where my roots are from. But I lived there till I was about 9, and then we moved to Davis, California, till I was about
Oh,
15,
okay.
and then actually moved to Australia after that too, when I was
No
18. So
way! I
yeah, I
had
was
no
in
idea.
was in Brisbane. Where were you?
I was in Sydney. So, oh,
Okay,
so you were in
right.
Bris Vegas. That's different.
Vegas. Yes.
I actually know quite a lot of colleagues that I worked with in the UK at the Hilton when I started got my first job in
Okay.
hotels there, that were from Brisbane.
Okay.
So I've never been to Brisbane
Cool.
actually ever, but
Brisbane. Yeah, it's really
I hear
nice.
it's fab.
It's
It's
very nice. It's very
the
nice.
Gold Coast area, so
Exactly.
very very cool.
So yeah, and then after that, went back to Florida for university. And then I've been here in Barcelona for the last 15 years, I think. So yeah, so that's where I'm from, guys. If you're listening, let us know that you're listening or watching, and just tell us where you're from. Tell us where you're tuning in from, so we can all get to know where all these digital people that this community, where we're all tuning in from. Um,
Absolutely, and I think this is also a really interesting question for event profs in general because
hmm,
I think in general we're all very kind of traveled,
yes.
we've probably been like lived here, studied there, lived
Hmm.
there for a while when I
Yeah.
was a student, or
Yeah.
went there to do a gap year or whatever it is. So I always think it's super interesting to get to know other event professionals because what you might assume might not be the case, and
Hmm.
it can just open up so many wonderful conversations. So I love that about that. So yeah, absolutely, like Jason said, drop us, let us know where you're from, how have you made your way through everywhere in the world, and where are you an event prof? So super super cool.
100%. And that kind of leads to the next one. I already answered it about how I got here. I studied it in Florida. Actually, my university is this one, Florida State. We're known more for football, American football,
Yes,
but
that's where I've heard it, because I've heard
you
Florida State.
probably, yeah. And I moved out to Barcelona when I was 23, and it was more just to have kind of a gap after university to experience Europe, to learn some Spanish, and 15
You got
years
that
later. I'm
Yeah,
still learning Spanish and having a gap year. So
I love
that's
that.
how I ended up in Barcelona.
Yeah.
Oh,
So how did I end up here? Love, right? So my husband's German,
okay.
and we met each other in London,
Hmm.
and then we got married, and and then I got pregnant, and then we realized there was no way we were going to be raising a kid in London because we
Mm,
had no family. We were
yeah,
both in hospitality, which can make that super challenging when you don't have
yeah,
a support system,
100%.
and yeah, we just decided to up and move to Cologne, where he's from, and his entire
Okay.
family, I kid you not, entire family, live in this beautiful little village just outside of Cologne.
Mm,
It's literally like 11 minutes on a train from the central
okay.
station of Cologne.
Hmm.
And it's, yeah, it's that's kind of what got me to where I'm living now.
Nice.
Very different to everywhere I've ever lived before. A lot
Mm.
of people come to me and they're like, "Are you okay?" Because it's not a big city, but
It's like
actually it's
Singapore,
beautiful. It's a beautiful little
London.
city.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's completely
Yeah.
different. But
Yeah.
this is where we've set our roots, and this is how
Hmm.
I got here. So that's where
Amazing.
we live now.
Cool. Look, we've got let's see, I'm gonna totally ruin this name. I'm so sorry. Jod?
That's a good
Yeah,
solid effort, Jode.
Jod?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I would have.
Um, Thank you for
Yeah.
tuning
Or
in
nude.
from Dubai. Nude?
Dubai.
Yeah?
Maybe
Yeah.
nude because the J
Maybe
might
she
be
can write in
silent.
the comments the how to I'm
How
so
to
sorry.
pronounce your name?
I'm terrible with names. I feel like a shameful American right now. Um, but thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. And are you from there originally? How did you get there? Let us know. That's what we're talking about today. Tell us a little bit more about you. And thanks for tuning in. We've also got John, who would like us to travel to Serengeti, Kilimanjaro, and Zanzibar with him. So why not? Okay. Look, here we go. Najud. Perfect.
Najud, there you
Amazing. Thank
go.
you.
Excellent.
Thank you for tuning in, Najud. And we've got some more questions for you. She's laughing at us. And rightly so, to be fair. All right. So, next question for you, Sabrina, I'm going to ask you is how did you get into this wonderful world of events?
So I got into events in 2010. So it's been over 10 years. Crazy. So I got into events because I was in the hospitality sales side of things. I was working as a sales manager for meetings, incentives, conferences, events, I guess, sector
Hmm.
at the leading hotels of the world. And I was
Okay.
selling their hotel portfolio to the EMEA market of
Ah,
all the hotels in the portfolio at the time that could do mice.
okay.
Um, and so what happened was the company had a new CEO, kind of, I would say, kind of halfway into my time there, and a lot of things changed. And my boss
Hmm.
went and started his own event agency. Now, he
Okay.
was based in New York City, and he was looking to have presence in London. So he basically came to me and he said, "Hey, Sabrina, what do you reckon? Do you want to move into events and open the London office for us and kind of lead the charge
Mm,
there? Because if you do, I would love for you to do that." And so
okay.
I was like, wow, I don't know if this opportunity will ever come along. I've always wanted
Mm,
to move into events. But, as everyone knows, it can be very difficult to move into the event side of things when you're in the hotel side of things.
sure.
Nowadays, it's getting a lot easier, but back
Mm,
then, it wasn't really the easiest thing to do.
hmm.
So I said, you know what? Yes, I will absolutely do. I have no idea how this is going to turn out, but I'm one of those people. So I was like, I'm going to take this challenge. I'm young enough to kind of, at this stage,
Yeah.
figure it out somehow. And I went for it. And I never
Cool.
looked back. It was an incredible, incredible opportunity and
Mm,
a great decision I made. And I've made some lifelong friends
mm.
that we work together, and it's really interesting because the 2 or 3 girls that we work in our little office right now, we're all doing completely different things now,
Okay.
which I think is brilliant. But we're all kind of somehow in the world of events, but not really.
Okay. Hmm.
And I mean, I obviously still am because I'm, pandemic. Hello, I'm not doing
Hmm.
it. But the other
Hmm.
two are still kind of here and there. So
Okay.
yeah, that's kind of how I got into events, and I
Cool.
never left because I absolutely loved it. So how did you get into
Nice.
it?
I got into events. So when I moved to Barcelona, I obviously had to find a job, and I actually come from more of a sales and marketing background. So my first job was with an advertising agency doing sales for them, and funnily enough, they were working for a trade show called Bread and Butter, which used
Mhm.
to be in Berlin and Barcelona, and so they were trying to sell their advertising services to companies attending those trade shows. So from the very beginning, I didn't realize it, but I already had one foot in events because I was selling services for to support a trade show. After about 6 months, my manager moved to a different company,
Mhm.
and he wanted me to go with him. So he pulled me along to this other company. That company was also working on trade shows, but instead of selling advertising services, they were selling accommodations, basically apartments,
Right.
hotels, things like that. That went okay for about a week, and then we realized that that company. I met a really good friend of mine. He was actually from Arizona.
Yeah.
His name is Mike, and we were the two sales guys there. And we realized really quickly, like, this thing was a mess. And so, kind of the typical entrepreneurship story where you work somewhere, you realize you can do it better. And him and I, after we probably stuck it out for about a year. We broke off and started our own thing, which at the time was called Destination Global, and which has since then become Acomo after a rebranding.
Mhm.
And yeah, we started out really logistics with accommodation, but over time have turned it into venues and catering and just pretty much providing any sort of event supply that an event manager would need. So yeah, that's my quick backstory on how I got into events.
Awesome. I love that. And it's so interesting to hear how people get into events, whether it's a path that they were already wanting to kind of get into, or whether it just happened to present itself, or it
Mm-hmm.
somehow transitioned. And I think in both our cases, it's interesting because it was someone we worked with that presented us the opportunity to kind of
Mm-hmm.
shift and, you
Yeah.
know, pivot into
Yeah.
that role.
100%.
So that is really, really
Yep.
cool. And it just goes to show how important your network and relationships can
Yeah.
be
Mm-hmm.
in a job and any job, right?
Totally.
So
Yep.
Najud is saying that, well, she is from Jordan, but
There we
she
go.
is in Dubai. So super
Okay.
interesting, right?
All
So
right.
that's a cool thing. I've never been to Jordan. It's on my bucket list.
Me too. Yep.
But she is co-founder of NXT Show, an event solution and platform, in-person, hybrid, and in-person event.
Cool.
Very
Based out of
cool.
Dubai.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Jude. We also have, it looks like Julie's tuning in too. Hi, Julie. How are you?
Yay! Hey,
Julie
Julie.
is this is her backstory. I can probably speak for Julie. I know Julie really well. She's tuning in from Barcelona. She is definitely a Frenchie, but she's lived everywhere: New Zealand, Singapore, Los Angeles, and Bolivia. And she moved to Spain because of love. So similar. Why are you here? Because of
Yeah.
love. It's a good. I mean, it's a pretty good
Well,
reason, right?
technically, so are you, though, in that way,
Yeah.
in a
Well,
little
that's fair.
bit. I mean, you
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
stayed
I
because of love,
stayed for love. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
but I love that Julie lived in Singapore. We totally have to like catch up on that, Julie. Like, oh, awesome! I always love people
The
that I meet in the
Singapore
industry that have
connection.
either lived in Singapore or been to Singapore in a different
Mm,
capacity. So that's always really
yeah.
cool. So definitely going to catch up on that.
100%. Thanks, Julie, for tuning in. So we got the next question. Let's keep rolling here as we get to know the community. Like we said, the idea today is just to get to know everybody. Just tune in, drop information about you in the comments. It's just a chance for all of our community that watches this to talk to each other and get to know a little bit more. Like, I had no idea that you lived in Australia, so you see, we're discovering things just by a simple question. So next question up.
Absolutely.
Sabrina, what is your favorite? This is tough. There's so
It
many,
is
but
tough.
what is your favorite event hotel and or venue if you have one? I mean, you can keep it local in Germany or London or anywhere you've been. I'll probably stick to Barcelona since that's my area, but
So
the
difficult.
world is for you.
It is so that's a difficult
Mm,
question being an event prof who's
yeah.
organized international events
Hmm.
everywhere because everywhere is so different
Yeah.
and mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Okay, so favorite event hotel. Oh
And
my
just
gosh.
like so you don't offend anybody, just because one is your favorite doesn't mean you dislike the rest of them, right?
Exactly, right. So maybe I'll tell you what has been my favorite event hotel where I have run an event.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And there obviously haven't been that many. They've all
Mm,
been going, they've all been amazing. I've never had bad experience. Toy, toy, toy. Very, very lucky there.
mm.
But I want to say probably my favorite event hotel where I've had the best experience was the Marriott in Madrid, Spain. That's near the
Ah,
airport.
okay.
Yeah, I know
Wow.
it's an unexpected answer,
That is,
but I'll
yeah,
tell you
yeah.
what.
Okay.
Because a lot of people are like, "Oh, airport hotel." No, you know what? This hotel, first of all, it is incredible for events because it
Mm-hmm.
has magnitude of event space, and they have an auditorium. Like it was amazing for
This
our event. We had,
auditorium, right? The Marriott
yeah,
Auditorium. Cool.
exactly, the
Yep.
Marriott Madrid Auditorium, and they had,
Mm-hmm.
and this was a really big event for my client IBM at the time, and it was like over almost 2,000 people.
Okay.
And another event was more than 2,000 people, so it fitted all really well, and everything worked beautifully. But I tell you what, the team,
Yeah.
amazing. They made all the difference. They had these awesome, wonderful ladies and gents who were always all in red, and they were like the red concierges, and they would just be there for you. Like at any point, you could just walk into their office and ask them anything.
Okay.
They were super, super like on it. Like there was never a point where nothing was not possible. Do you know what I
Okay.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they were there around the clock where I was there around the clock, and there was always someone I could call, and it was flawless. So that probably to date has to be my favorite event hotel that I've personally experienced.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean they were fantastic, and the team there are absolutely fabulous. And the
Cool.
DMC we used at the time called Conventia
Mm-hmm.
are incredible as well, and they worked seamlessly. They are now known as the Nanook Agency.
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
two teams just blew it out of the water for me. It was fantastic.
That looks
Um,
amazing. I'm scrolling. Sorry, I'm
it is
scrolling through.
it is amazing. They've got so, I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
just so versatile. It's awesome. Um,
Hmm.
and it's not that far out of Madrid. It's literally like
Yeah.
15 minutes because Madrid isn't that big. So, it's super easy to get in and out of the city center and everything, and
Yep.
everything worked flawlessly. So it was really
Oh,
fantastic.
cool.
Um, and you could really just do whatever you wanted at this hotel in terms of customization. You're talking
Yeah.
colors,
Yeah.
LED screens,
Mm-hmm.
branding, literally white label, just take
Yep.
over. It was
The
fantastic. And from a
and
corporate event perspective, it's so great to have that
mhm.
at hotels. So
Yep.
super,
The
super cool.
rooms are
Yeah,
amazing too. The meeting spaces
absolutely.
here look
Mhm.
great. Hmm.
Look,
Nice.
there's a tree in there. Look at that, right?
Yeah, they put a tree in the room. Come
I love
on.
Um, so yeah, I think and then venue that I've used, oh, that's hard, isn't it? It's a
Yeah,
really
there's so many.
that's a
Hmm.
really hard one. Come back to me. Come back to me.
Okay,
You go first. I'm gonna
we'll
have to
get
think about the venue.
okay. All right. So I'm going to stick with the Spain theme here because obviously I'm a little bit biased living in Barcelona, and probably my favorite. I mean, there's a ton of excellent hotels, but we've done a lot of work with the Hotel Arts here in
Mm.
Barcelona, and I mean, it's really the hotel arts is very close to my heart. We've done some really big events up to about 500 people there, and there's a lot to like about the hotel arts. I mean, number one is like just look at the location, right?
Amazing.
I mean,
Amazing.
every single room in this hotel has got sea views, and you've got views of the city, you've got views of the mountains. I mean, the location is really unbeatable. You walk downstairs and you're pretty much on the beach. It's just a fantastic place. Number one, to sleep, and at the top up here too, they have a really nice club lounge as well. So like
Mhm.
you can go up there, and it's a really nice VIP treatment. The gardens and the pool are fantastic. We've done lunches out here. So like you have the conference during the day, and then you break out for lunch, and they'll set up the garden area, just the beautiful buffet. The weather's usually like this as well, nice and sunny.
Amazing.
They have a great pool, infinity pools. It's a beautiful, beautiful space. And then on top of that, the meeting areas are really, really nice. The ballroom is one of the largest ones in Barcelona. I think it's called the Gaudi Ballroom. I won't
Nice.
have time to find it here, but the meeting spaces work really well. I believe that is. Anyway, the meeting spaces work really well. And then, like you said, on top of that, the team is they're really, really on top of it from top to bottom. Everybody's on board. Everybody is checking in all the time. They're paying attention to details. The first answer is usually yes. It's not like, well, I don't know if that's possible. It's usually like, we'll do what we can, it's the
Yeah.
right attitude. And when we're on site, it really feels like they kind of become part of the team. So I would have to say my favorite hotel for events is the Hotel Arts right now. So guys, if you're listening, what's your favorite hotel? Let us know. Let us know what hotels you've had some great experiences with. Put them
And
in the
venue.
comments. And venues, exactly. And
I've come up with. I think I've got this venue, and
okay.
it's in my favorite city in the whole world,
Hmm.
which is New York.
Okay.
Um, I know I love New York. If I could
Okay.
go every month, I would go to New York. And so New York is in my heart. But one of my favorite venues that I've ever kind of attended an event at
Hmm.
would have to be the Standard Hotel in the downtown. So I think it's on the High Line in New
Okay.
York.
Hmm.
And they have a bar at the top called
The
Top of the
rooftop.
Standard. Um,
Okay.
and it is the most incredible bar. I mean, the views are just insane because you're literally kind of at the edge and it's like all
Okay.
around glass. And then it's got this real Gatsby kind of retro kind of feel with the architecture inside.
Cool.
So it's very old Hollywood glamour a
Hmm.
little bit,
Very cool.
but still achingly cool at the same time.
Yeah.
And it was the first place I ever experienced a cocktail where they brought together two of my favorite ingredients, which is gin and champagne together.
Wow. Gin and
I believe it was called Girl's Best Friend, and I was like, yeah, it is.
you're like, yeah,
This girl is.
agree.
So this is the bar.
Okay.
It is absolutely incredible. They also have super interesting bathrooms.
Okay.
Don't question me. You got to
Hmm.
go and see it for yourself if you ever have the time. There's two different kinds of bathroom areas at this particular bar, and they're both mind-blowingly super interesting. Um, and so that would have to be my favorite venue. I would definitely
Nice.
say in the
Cool.
world so far.
Nice. Yeah, it looks amazing. I will put it on the bucket list, or at least the site visit list,
Absolutely.
for myself. We've got somebody else tuning in. Teresa is tuning in from Vienna, Austria. Hello, Teresa. How are you? Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. She says she moved and stayed also for love. Moved to Vienna for love. This is, I mean,
Turning
it's
out to
kind of
be a
a
pattern here.
common thing. Are event profs all living where they are because of love? Are we the ones that tend to follow our hearts? Are
There could be something there. I feel
there's
like
something there, huh?
someone.
Yeah, exactly. Flexibility to move for love.
Exactly.
Says she started working at international organizations, moved to events by chance. So excited to relaunch and really experience to the fullest. I agree 100%.
100%.
You feel like the energy starting to come back a little bit, and like the leads are starting to get warm again. So I think we're almost there, guys. We're almost there. Let's just fingers crossed. This is the real one. So thank you for tuning in, Teresa. That's amazing. And hello from Vienna. Um,
Beautiful city.
cool. So let's keep rolling with the questions. Now, what is one thing you dislike about site visits? One thing that kind of has really bugged you before? Like we all do site visits as part of the job of being an event professional. It's actually, I really like that part of the job.
I love it.
Going
Yeah.
around and seeing new venues and tasting the caterings and checking out the hotels. But surely there's things that bother you or that need to be done better. So what's one thing that you think can be done better that you dislike about site visits, Sabrina?
When you keep me waiting in the lobby longer than necessary. It annoys the crap out of me. You know what time the appointment is. You know what time I'm supposed to be there.
Hmm.
And, that whole like dance that we do coming into the lobby, call at reception. Reception
Hmm.
calls sales. Sales is like,
Hmm.
he will be down or she will be down
Hmm.
in just a few minutes. And then it's not a few minutes.
Hmm.
It's like half an hour or 20
Yeah.
minutes or even
Yeah.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
Anything from that one point call will feel like an eternity for
Totally.
the event professional that's
Yeah.
coming to do the site inspection.
Yes.
And it will literally, this is a tip for all of you all. When
Hmm.
I'm sitting in a lobby, like any other event planner, I am literally tearing your lobby apart
Yes.
mentally in my head. So the longer a time you give me to do that,
Yep.
it's probably not going to be good for you.
Not a good thing.
So
Yeah,
what you want to
exactly.
do is sweep right on in and control that narrative, my friends,
A hundred
from the
percent.
beginning. Do
Yeah.
not give us time.
As as soon as the elevator doors open, no, hi Sabrina,
And how
welcome.
difficult
No,
is this? This is I've
yeah.
only I think I've only experienced this at one or two hotels, one or two in my entire career so far, Jason,
Hmm.
where they've gone. Please follow me. Would like you to take your seat here at the hotel bar. Can I get you a
Hmm.
drink, a coffee, or
Yeah.
something, so
Yep.
that you have something whilst you wait?
Yep.
Guys, seriously,
Yeah.
do
If
it more often.
if there's gonna be a wait,
If
offer a
there's gonna be a
coffee, give
wait,
give something to do. Exactly. Exactly.
exactly. You
And
know,
generally these site visits are not. It's not like you just showed up,
no.
right? It's been planned weeks in advance. Everybody knows what time it's going to be at. Our time's important, so treat it that way, right?
And if we just do a walk-in, there's a whole different
Of
thing
course.
altogether.
Yeah.
First
Of
of all,
course.
I as a event prof myself,
Mm,
I don't do walk-ins. I think because
yeah.
I've worked on the other side, I know how
Exactly.
irritating it
No, I
is
can't.
because you want to be on your game and you want
Hmm.
to be able to really, deliver a site inspection how you want it.
Yeah.
There has to be lead time. If
Yes.
you do a walk-in, you're asking for it in general. So
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
be ready for whatever comes. Don't have
Hmm.
like higher expectations. If the
Yeah.
walk-in site inspection turns out to be incredible, that
Hmm.
is a hotel to have on your list forever in terms of test of time.
Yeah. 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 Well, and I mean, because you are, as soon as you walk through the doors, you are acting like one of your attendees. So you're seeing
Yeah,
exactly how you're being treated. And
yeah.
you're being treated as the buyer, which means like you're probably being treated even at a higher level. And so if your first experience is off a little bit, your
Mhm.
first thought is like, wow, if they're treating me like this, imagine what they're going to treat the attendees like. So
Yeah.
I'm 100% with you on that. It's so important to be on point for the site visits. And
What about you? What do you
well,
dislike about site visits?
so let me tell you a really good site visit that I had. I'll talk about the Ritz Carlton again. So before going on a site visit there,
Yeah.
they would actually. So I would have, if I had a client flying in or whatever, they would actually ask me for photos of the person that was coming, or a LinkedIn profile or something, so that as soon as they were on site, the people, not just the salesperson, but the
Mm.
hostesses and other people working the elevators could recognize that person,
Ritz
greet
Carlton does
her,
that very
greet
well.
him or
Yeah,
her
yeah.
by name when they
Yeah.
walk in. I mean, it floors people. And when you
It
walk into
does.
it and they say,
How funny though is that
yeah,
floor that one thing floors people and it can be so easily done, right?
so easy. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, the details matter, guys. They really do, and people notice it. So let's see. One thing that bothers me is when you have gone through the process of vetting what is sometimes 20 venues, you cut
Mhm.
it down to the top 5 that you can do site visits for. You know exactly which spaces are going to work, and you show up, you do the meeting, and you go through, and you get on site, and they say, "I'm sorry, we won't be able to see the ballroom today because it's occupied."
And that's your main venue,
and
right? Like
and
that's
that's
where
what
your
you get.
general session is
Exactly.
happening. So they're
Exactly.
like, just figure it out. This is how
Exactly.
it's
Like,
gonna look.
no, and it's like, here's the iPad. I can show you photos of it, or maybe we can peek our head in and you can see, but I need to ask the client. It's like, no, 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 no. There's been so much going on to lead up to that. Like, if there's any changes, or I understand, like if they need to sell the ballroom, it was free yesterday and today it's not. I understand that, but I need to know that before I'm on site so I can set expectations for myself and also whoever the client is that's coming with me to look at that. So that would be my big one, is make sure that all the spaces that you're going to show are available to show on the day that you're doing the site visit.
And if you want to be a step ahead, make sure they're set up.
Yeah, 100. Yeah. I mean, if you can manage that, have a setup in
Can you
in
imagine
the.
walking into the ballroom? They're like, so we took the time to
Hmm.
actually set it up
Yeah,
in the setup of plenary that you are working on, so you have a better idea
yeah.
of how it's gonna look like. How floored would you be? You would be
Yeah.
like, wow, yeah, this is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And from a agency perspective, you taking that photo and sharing that with your client,
Mm,
how much more awesome does that make that experience for you
of
as
course.
well?
Yeah.
So the
Definitely.
hotel then has a direct hand in making you look good, which at the end of
Yeah.
the day is what all hotels should be striving to do
Mhm.
with their event planners that
Yeah,
come in. So,
and we're not talking about like buying t-shirts, we're talking about massive investments. So I think, okay, maybe it's going to cost an hour of the hotel's time and staff to set that up, but that's pretty minimal compared to what you could potentially win in terms of business. So yeah, no, I think this
absolutely.
this has
If any
been.
of you out there need some site inspection consulting, please contact myself or Jason.
Happy.
We are very, very experienced in the world of site inspections
Mm,
internationally.
yeah,
So if you need some pointers and tips on how you want to blow your clients' minds when they come
yeah,
for site inspections, please do contact us.
happy to
I think
help.
we'll be able to give you some great pointers.
I think so too. I think so too. So on that note, guys, let us know about your site visit experiences. If you're watching, if you're listening to our complaints, if you have a complaint about site visits, something that really bothers you about site visits that you think can be improved, let us know in the comments, because I'm really, actually, this has been a great question. Some things have come up that I didn't expect. So I'm curious to see if you guys agree with us, or if you have other ideas of how hotels or venues or catering companies can improve their site visit experiences. So
And
we
if you
are.
feel like this is something you want us to like kind of discuss more in detail, we can do
Mhm.
a full episode on it. I think it'll be pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because at the
yeah.
end of the day, it is you marketing your product to event professionals.
Yep.
And there are things that you should be doing.
Hmm.
There you
Yep.
go. You
Yep.
know.
100%. We've
Wow.
got a quick note from Julie again. She's tuning in. She says the Oscar Terrace is a great venue in Madrid from the Roommate Hotels. Do you know the Roommate Hotels? I think it's
I
a Spanish
do.
chain of
They're
hotels.
awesome. They're
Um,
fantastic. Good
it's got a
value as well. Great
360
value.
degree, yeah, great value. Yeah, 100%. The 360 degree view, small group, team is super helpful, and the brand is highly diverse and inclusive. It's true. 2 years ago, they displayed a huge LGBT flag on the front of the building
Nice.
in the middle of the city, which was a really impressive message to show the
Nice.
inclusiveness and diversity. So yeah,
Fantastic.
great shout, Julie, on that one. Um, all right, so
Mhm.
we're getting a bit long on time here. So let's get to the last one, which we're going to shift gears from on-site in person to something that's a little bit more digital. We're going to talk about what's your favorite piece of event tech that you've discovered, let's say in the last year or so.
So I'm going to keep it super simple here, Jason. We're
Mm,
on it.
yeah,
StreamYard.
I think we may be on the same page.
StreamYard has been amazing for
It,
me in general. It's so
yeah,
easy. I use it all the time.
yeah,
I use it for clients.
yep,
I tell other people how to use it. And if
yeah,
I can show someone else how to use it, it means it's super easy to
yeah,
use.
yeah.
And I'm not an event tech super extreme expert, but what I bring is the perspective of a user.
Hmm.
And if we're using StreamYard to do our own lives, which we have been doing,
Yep,
and it's super duper easy, it really has been for me my favorite piece of event tech that I've
yep,
discovered in the
yep.
last 14 months, 15 months.
Yeah, I that is easily in my top two for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that I try to imagine what the pivot would have looked like without something like StreamYard,
My
and
God.
it would have been much different. Because a lot of times, I mean, what is StreamYard? StreamYard is kind of a tool that allows you to broadcast your video like this to different areas. I mean, right now we're broadcasting to Facebook, to LinkedIn, and to YouTube.
Mm.
We could also put this cast into a virtual event platform too. I mean, it makes it so easy that what seemed to be the most difficult part of the pivot, which was, well, how do we get our videos live? They
Yeah.
just like, well, you just press this button. It's like, sweet. Um,
Awesome.
yeah,
Right. So
yeah,
I think it's fabulous. I think it has changed a lot of people's lives
yeah.
in
Mm-hmm.
our industry.
Hundred
People that
percent.
maybe didn't have the experience or expertise
Yeah.
necessarily in this particular
Hmm.
area, and it made them comfortable and confident enough
Yep.
to use an event tech tool
Yep.
to support what they had to do, which I think is a phenomenal thing. So
Yep.
absolutely, that
Absolutely.
I think.
Definitely. Definitely. And I'm going to say, so this is not, I don't know if this is actually event tech.
Ooh,
I mean, some of the platforms that have come out are amazing. You know,
yeah,
like I have to give big credit to the balloons, the air meets,
report
the
cards.
Hubilos, the exactly swap card. I mean, those techs are fantastic. But I think when you get to those scales, you're talking about a slightly larger scale
Yeah.
than something like StreamYard. I need to give a shout out to Canva too. I think
Yes,
um, it's
absolutely.
not like it's not event tech
It's
really,
not, but it's a tool.
but wow, like we are using it. I mean, they've previously to create interesting videos or overlays for for
Yeah,
your
for this.
events, you know,
Exactly.
exactly. You needed a graphic designer or you needed somebody that could knew Photoshop back and forth. And I mean, Canva has really made the visual side of events, virtual events, much more accessible for like the common person. So I think it's not exactly related to event tech, but I certainly apply Canva in many areas of the event tech that we use. That makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
100%. 100%. I'm like,
yeah.
you know me and my undying
You
love for Canva anyway.
you live
So
on Canva.
I
Yeah,
live on Canva every single
that
day. So
tab never closes.
no, it's always open. It's
Always.
open right now.
So
Oh,
I mean, guys, let us know what you think too. What's your favorite piece of event tech? There's so much that's happened in the last 12 months. I know I'm missing things. I know that Sabrina and I we've mentioned ours, but what's your favorite piece of event tech? If you have your own, if you're building something, let us know in the comments too. This is just to be open to share and get to know you guys a little bit better.
absolutely. Fabulous. And that
Yeah.
sums up our over 40 minutes event props marketing live. But we never, do you know what? I think this is just going to be an ongoing joke for like
I
me and
think so.
Jason for like
Yeah.
for the end of time.
We're just gonna call it covering.
But it's awesome. But it's been fantastic. It's been some great questions. We've loved get to know you in the comments. Please, if you're watching this on the replay, put your answers in the comments. We love hearing from the community. We love meeting and discovering new event professionals wherever you may be in the world. So please put your comments and your answers in the comments area, and we will definitely interact and engage back.
For sure.
And yeah, we will be back next week. We will let you know when,
Yep.
but we will be back next week, and we will
Yep.
let you know what that topic will be. So stay
Yep.
tuned. We usually schedule the event, the live event, so you'll know when it's happening. So you can always hit the little notification button so that you know when we go live.
Mhm.
And we usually simultaneously stream. Thank you, StreamYard, to Facebook, on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube.
Yep.
So it's a wonderful way, depending on which platform you're comfortable on and that you use, you can access the videos. They're all there.
Absolutely.
So thank you again, Jason. That was awesome.
Yeah. And actually, on that note, one of the topics we're thinking about doing is like a behind the scenes streaming. So, like maybe showing you guys the tech that we're using. It's not that
Mhm.
complicated. Maybe showing you how we prepare for these streams. If that's interesting to you, let us know. Otherwise, we'll do something else. But that's kind of one of the thoughts we have for next week.
Yeah, because if you have technology like this and you can use it to better your marketing, because virtual events now, it's not just virtual events for corporates, but
Mm,
virtual events for anyone, to kind of deliver a product or service, and their expertise and experience on it is a huge thing, and it's worth its weight in gold. So if you want to kind of know how to leverage that, then let us know in the comments if you want us to do an episode on how we use these kind of streaming tools and how we set up and all of the basics, and you can have that power in your hands
that's
as
right.
well. Excellent. All right,
Cool.
then take care, everyone. Happy Thursday. It is
Happy
Thursday, isn't it?
Thursday. It is. Yeah, we're almost to the weekend. So happy Thursday, everybody. And we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.